Right.
My own country is doing so great. I want to be here as an Indonesian. And I respect that. But I'm sure there are more Indonesians that we could persuade to go overseas and then bring them back in senior roles. So,
Well, it's even great that if they can come back and contribute in a senior role in a multinational company, I think that's quite a step up, you know, that's very good. What about the role of women? I mean, we are in Southeast Asia, and traditionally there is a role that women are expected to play. How have you seen women leadership rise up in a bank, and where do you see it go?
well, first thing I would say is I don't have any distinction between a woman and a man doing any job in the bank. And I think we have as many high-performing women as we do men. Indeed, the overall population in Standard Chartered Indonesia, there are more women than men. It's just slightly more than 50% among our branch managers, which are some of the most important roles because they're far from head office, they're customer-facing, they're cash handling in the branches. 65–70% of our branch managers are women. Our own board of directors, there are 15 of us, 5 women and 10 men. So 1/3 of the BOD is women, and I'd love to see it 50-50. I would be thrilled if my successor were someday a Indonesian woman, and I have colleagues in the bank who I think would make outstanding CEOs. So I think we're very fair between men and women in our bank, and it's all performance-based, and I think we're very balanced on a gender bias. So I don't know. I think the cultural stereotypes that you described, I haven't seen them in Standard Chartered Indonesia.
Right. Well, that's very, very encouraging. Now, for this Master Mentors series, I also want to dig a little bit about your background, because what we're here to do is also to inspire mid to senior level leaders to go up that ranks, to be the CEO, to be a leader, and perhaps to be a talent that is placed outside. So can you tell us a little bit about your story, about how you got here? Was this something that you knew you one day will do to become a CEO? Was it a dream, or what was your journey to become a CEO?
Well, I grew up in a pretty middle-class, simple, small-town environment in the United States, and never imagined that I would live overseas for 20 years when I was going to university, when I was starting my career. But was approached in my early 30s with an opportunity to join a bank I'd never heard of, Standard Chartered Bank, and to go to Hong Kong and to take the skill set I had to this bank in a foreign market. And it was a scary decision because I didn't know the institution. I didn't know anything about Hong Kong. My wife and I had a very good life going in Los Angeles, and I had a career path that was quite predictable. But I credit my wife, who said, if we don't do this, we'll always wonder, what if we'd gone to Hong Kong back in 1994? And she said, this kind of opportunity might not come up again. It's pretty exciting times to go to Hong Kong. So she was the one who persuaded me. And we went thinking, maybe 2-3 years, we'll live in Hong Kong, and then we'll come back and resume a normal life in Los Angeles. And the years just went by, and the opportunities to go to other markets came along. And after 7 years in Hong Kong, I went to the head office in London. And that's where the first seed of being a CEO was planted, because I was working in the head office, and I was able to work closely with our group CEO and watch him and see his creativity. And I said, I want to try that someday. I want to be a CEO myself and try some of these people experiments, because that's what he was so gifted at, was trying to see the qualities and skills in someone and then stretch them into a role that they might not have ever thought of. And he could match up people and roles in the most creative ways and inspire people. And I said, that would give me so much satisfaction to have that kind of opportunity. So after 4 years in London, watching the group CEO and seeing all that, and telling him, I'd like to be a CEO myself one day, in any country you want, just send me off, I'd like to do this. he challenged me to go to Zambia, which is a country in southern Africa, as the CEO. And he said, "You've always told me you want to be a CEO, well here's the opportunity." And again, my wife said, "We have to do this. This is what you've always wanted to try." So we went off to Lusaka, Zambia in 2004, and I loved it. I found the job for me, being a general manager. And I think if I could describe the CEO role, it is putting together the best possible team of leaders around myself, and then giving them the empowerment, trying to make sure they were highly engaged, and that I was there to support them. But I wasn't going to breathe over their shoulder, I wasn't going to second guess them, and putting that top team around me in any country I've been to, that's the key to success, surrounding myself with the best possible talent. And I learned that in Africa, then had the chance to go to the Middle East, where I was CEO in Qatar and North Africa. Bigger market, bigger company, bigger business. And then in 2009, had the chance to come to Indonesia, which was much bigger, much broader. And so I've been here the last 5 years. But the CEO role is just so much fun, especially when you have the luxury of a strong team around you. And after 4.5 years here, I have an outstanding team, which enables me to step away from the kind of day-to-day nitty-gritty and think more about the people and the talent management issues. That's what I probably spend the most time on. And then rely on this very strong leadership team to do the nitty-gritty day-to-day stuff. And yet I'm there to help whenever issues arise where they need me to help in any way. But I'm not out there doing the day-to-day management as much as I am putting those managers in place and then trusting them.
Well, that's interesting. It seems like the role and the purpose of CEO is really to put a strong team together.
I think
It's
so.
very much a human capital and talent recruitment, etc. How do you pick a team? I mean, what are some of the essential criteria that you see in people? They say, right, that's the person for the job.
Well, it might sound counterintuitive, but I don't start with the skills and experience. I think many managers would say, I want to see a whole bunch of CVs, and I want to look at somebody that's got credentials and can do this job. And then I'll start interviewing people who meet that minimum criteria. To me, that's the less important quality, because I think you can teach that. You can put someone into a role and give them the training to have the technical skills to do the role, if they're a bright person. What you can't teach is the integrity, the leadership skills, the enthusiasm, teamwork, orientation, and so that's what I'm looking for in a top leadership role. And then we can equip them with the technical stuff. But I think if you find the right qualities in the person, I'd much rather take a chance that we can develop the skills rather than take someone with the skills and hope you can turn them into a leader.
Very interesting. So the purpose of CEO is really to equip the bank or equip the company with great talents.
Yeah. I was invited to come and speak at the MBA program at Binu Sentara some time back. And they asked me to come and explain my theory of leadership. And for me as a CEO, how do I define leadership? And I thought hard about it and came up with a definition. And I said that a strong leader surrounds him or herself with the very best people they can find. And then they empower those people. And then the leader strives to engage the people through support, recognition, reward, and encouragement. And I think that captures my image, or my image of leadership, is that the first step is surrounding the leader with the best people they can find. And that's hard, to find those people, hopefully from within the organization, but occasionally from the marketplace. And then empowering them, giving them the sort of tools they need, giving them the right objectives so they know what their job is, giving them the support, the encouragement so that they know I've got their back in case they make a bad judgment, and then reward and recognition. so that they know that when they perform, they're going to be rewarded, recognized, etc. I think all those are the tools that lead to high performers. But the first step is identifying and retaining those people that make that inner circle team. And I'm not one that subscribes to the idea of a hierarchy and an organization chart where the CEO's on the top and then you've got a pyramid below.
Right.
I would much rather look at the CEO, for example, in the middle, like the hub in a wheel. And then the wheel kind of going around that hub with spokes going out. And if the team is properly built, that's like the end of each spoke around the wheel. And so as a leader, if I can surround myself 360 degrees with strong people at each of those joints, then the wheel is going to spin in balance and there will be precision. But if some of those spokes are loose or they're not connected, then it's going to wobble. And then each of those points at the end of the spoke, they have their own circle of their leadership. So it just kind of concentric circles all around.
Right.
But I see the leader in the middle, not at the top of a hierarchy. And this imagery of surrounding myself with all the best people, that to me that appeals to my visual image.